Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you a quick video on how I made my Klonoa intro remastered. I only did like 3 scenes of it, but it's a long process. I plan on releasing the entirety of it soon after I'm finished everything. But this is just a rundown of a few scenes and how I make my animations and such and such. I will make another video on my evolution ones after this one. But yeah, so to start off, I created myself a moon, preferably like a spherical mesh. Use like a point light. You can use a mission if you want to. But I used a point light to really show off the shadows of the moon, the dark side of the moon, and such and such. A spherical space background. You can use an image texture of some sort. It doesn't matter, whatever the case may be, an environmental texture. Just go wild. I used the ring from Klonoa. Made it pretty metallic looking because it's a ring and such and such. Make sure to apply a moon texture. Make sure to apply a moon texture to the spheres. Make sure you add a subdivision surface and a shade smooth. That's right. I usually compare my scenes through references. That way I can make my scenes close to the original source material as much as possible. And I don't try. And it may not be the best, but it's the closest I can possibly make it to my personal knowledge. For the next scene, I just added a toon-like low poly grass field with toon grass, toon trees. You can make these yourself or download them elsewhere. I prefer you make them yourself. It's not really that hard to make yourself some nice meshes of grass and duplicate them. Apply toon shaders, toon textures, shown through color ramps connected to mix shaders and principal BSDF and such. Toon shading tricks have really worked in my career of making cartoon-like animations, you know. There are a bunch of tutorials like that on YouTube. Not only do the color ramps help you with color, shading, and such, however, the lights themselves do too. Lights and shadows are very important when it comes to making these kind of animations. Not just the coloring, but the lighting too. Remember that. During the beginning of the scene, there is a butterfly just floating on top of a flower. How did I do this? Well, I used a bunch of planes and a bunch of images of a butterfly to really make it look like a butterfly. So it's really just a bunch of images joined together on top of emission shaders, movement animation, and so forth. This is all done using bones, preferably spherical bones. Yeah, they get in the way though, so I just hide the bones and I copy and paste the keyframes of the movements. And yeah, I make sure to move the flower with the butterfly, that way it's bouncy, and when the butterfly flies, it bounces as the butterfly bounces off of it. And not to mention the depth of field, the beautiful depth of field. If there was none, I don't think the scene would be complete. Now let's get to Klonoa, the character himself. Now how did I manage to open up his mouth and close it? So all I did was go to edit mode, select the vertices of the bottom of his jaw using the face select tool. Then, and I prefer you press C when doing that. It's like a marker when you do it but yeah, preferably press C, select everything. Watch out selecting the wrong vertices, just like the weight paint tool. Watch out selecting the wrong vertices, the wrong pieces of the mesh, or else certain things will look off, certain things will move on accordingly. This will save you hours and hours of work. However, watch out, you're going to need patience when it comes to selecting each particle, each vertex, each face. Then use the pivot option on the left, circle with the plus in the middle, then place it on top of the jawline and select the move tool to your left, the plus sign by itself, press R and it should move the mouth automatically. And yeah, you can press R twice to move it freely as well. It's one of my favorite options on Blender. Just make sure you select the correct faces to move. Or if this doesn't work for you, create a new bone, put it inside the jawline, then partner it to your character and add weight paint. Either one of the two should work. Next, the eyes. So again, I went on edit mode, selected the vertices of the iris. I then separated the iris, created bones for each iris. Make sure you name each and every bone, especially when it comes to vertex groups. To vertex groups, bones, and everything in between, including everything that you've ever created in Blender. Be organized. Name everything. Name everything the same as the vertex groups if you are applying a bone to a vertex group, such as weight paint. Weight paint is very important when it comes to that, and it's very important when it comes to bones in general and in Blender in general. It'll save you hours of time. You could create separate bones from the iris bones and just add a damped track, make a middle bone in front of the face, and make them parent to that one, and make the duplicate bones of those iris bones partner to the middle bone so that they both move at the same time. Make sure that the iris bones, the main ones, are connected to the head bone as well through parenting by selecting each of those bones, just one of them at a time, and parenting them to the head. That way they stick to the head. But if you want to move both eyes at the same time, use the bone in front of the face in the middle, which the bones are connected to. Speaking of weight paint, here we are. So make sure you create each and every new bone for each body part. Yes and yes and yes, stay organized. Name the bone the same as the vertex group, that way nothing is messed up. Other bones move with the same bone you're trying to move. I used to be stuck for hours on this because I wasn't organized naming bones. After naming the bones and everything, partner one of the bones to the object or character. Parent a bone with empty groups or automatic weights. I prefer empty groups, but if you want to do the automatic weights option, it does make it a little easier. Probably mess up the weights of the bones, so you will have to add and subtract the weight yourself through each vertex group you have named. Lastly, the animation when Klonoa jumps over the log. So this part is self-explanatory. You have weighted out your bones. You've gotten everything set up. All you have to do is click that record symbol next to the play and the stop, as you can see in the screen. Click that symbol. It will save you a lot of time rather than inserting each and every keyframe. And that's it. Everything is